I was doing the nest. Now I'm trying to actually do the hummingbird who's sitting down there, and I'm having a hell of a time trying to find her.
Hummingbirds are so cool. Oh,
And see, there she is. And there she goes.
They're awesome. I did Marie, the sustainability person.
Yeah.
Photos, and it looks so cool. Watching a show yesterday, flipping through some animal show. It's got the gymnastics of birds.
Yeah.
What they do. And it's really interesting how the male displays that, hey, I'm worthy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they come. The one time they come swooping down, and they do this dart.
Oh, that.
Thing.
Yeah.
As he's flying down, apparently, what happens is as he's coming down, he takes his rear tail, spreads out the feathers, and the feathers reverberate and make a low volume sound that
like a hum or a honk or something.
A hum. And it's like a and the faster they dive, the steeper they dive, and they put that out, the more intense the sound is. And that's one of the reasons how she picks. And I don't know if it's a certain species up in one, but it was really cool. We have somebody where I live. I just love it.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
You want to see them? I mean, I'm back to the babies. She and I have been swapping pictures and videos on and off.
That's awesome.
They're right down in there. It's this little knob of just stuff. You can barely see it past the two red blossoms, but you had that pair of red blossoms, you shoot straight past them and a little low. And there's just this little knot of brown. And that's it. But just in the last like 3 or 4 days, they've gone from just looking like baby generic to being very specifically hummingbirds. The coloration's changed a lot. They've been spending a lot of time preening the first round of feathers off and the down off. I imagine if you put a basket underneath it, you're going to collect a whole mess of stuff. I have a tiny little metal canister. It came with these little tabs of chocolate, and but this little slide lid and everything. And in it, I have a whole mess of feathers that aren't any bigger than that. Because a hummingbird, my house, I live over in Venice, there's a tree in my back that's right up against the back door that the hummingbirds love. We constantly have the doors open. It's how you can tell the difference between a house that belongs in Venice and one that doesn't, because the ones that belong in Venice don't have air conditioning. And so we had the doors open, and I'm home one day, and all of a sudden, and I'm sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden there's and I'm like, I look around, what the hell is that noise? And then it starts up again. There's a hummingbird sitting on the edge of a lampshade in my living room. And he really hadn't noticed me, and I'm now kind of hear him. And then the joke became, he couldn't figure out how to get out. Well, I've got what are called cove ceilings. The ceiling doesn't hit this, it curves into. So there's no real sight line. It's a way of keeping a low ceiling from feeling like it's really low. Well, it couldn't figure out where the hedge was, and it keeps banging its head against it and skipping along. And as it's doing it, it's leaving these little spots of 1 and 2 tiny little feathers. I mean, they're literally like that big across. But after I finally shooted out of the house, I went back and looked at what are those? And I didn't even notice them until like the next day. It's like, what? Shit, there's these black. Did you leave some stains? What is it? I get up on a ladder and I look for any feathers stuck up there with like hair grease, you know? So,
they really got into the gymnastics of the birds too, and just their aerial performance. And what they could do. Very, really impressive.
Amazing.
As impressive as any bird out there.
Yeah, they're the only one that can really sit still. There's a couple of them. There's a thing called a kite. Those are super fast. It's a harrier, or it's a raptor. It eats live animals. I've seen, and the only reason I know they exist is because I saw a couple of them down in Playa del Rey in the Bayona wetlands 2-3 years ago when I was working down there. And as I'm sitting there parked at a light, there's a bird that literally stops in midair and then looks like it's having a heart attack. Except it continues to have a heart attack and continues to have a heart attack in midair about 100 feet off the ground, or maybe 60, 70 feet off the ground. And then all of a sudden, it just goes all of a sudden the wings just all fold up and the thing just goes over and boom, and it hits the ground, and I'm like, Jesus, it dies. No, then it flaps its wings, does a little pecking, and then it flies off, and it's carrying something underneath it. It's not very graceful the way it hovers, but it hovers, and it's
but then it just
then it just strikes. Exactly. It's apparently there's one or two different kinds of these raptors. An eagle can't do it, a hawk can't do it. As general rule, they call them kites. And there's this one, there's another kind of kite. This was a white-tailed kite. There's another kind of kite that's kind of tan. And they're apparently the raptors that can hover, but they don't hover very long, and they certainly don't do it very gracefully.
Now,
certainly not like this.
This morning, Eric and I got into conversation about names of groups of birds. And because I'm swallowing, what do you call? You don't call them flock swallows. You call it a host. It's a host of swallows. So he's like, I never heard of such a thing. So I pulled it up, and we had the list of all the different things.
And the favorite everybody has is a murder of crows.
Right, the murder of crows. And I said, well, that one, and he didn't know about that one, but I said, there are all these really interesting ones. A bouquet of pheasants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
So a tricky question for you that I don't know the answer to.
Neither do I.
Is, what do you call a group of hummingbirds?
Well, I think the problem there is there's no such thing as a flock.
Well, okay. How about a family or something? A group?
It's worth looking up. I hadn't even thought of that. That's a great question.
I'll forget until the next time I see you. I don't have to look. If I remember, I'll say it.